Hello, boys and ghouls. It's Lum Vlogs here, and we are going to be doing our first movie review on this channel for the movie Tarot. So, the synopsis of the film, pretty much, a bunch of college students are at a get-together in this... They booked a mansion, and they're having drinking games, having fun, they're playing. They run out of booze, so they go into the mansion to look for booze, but instead go into an off-limit room, and when they break into there, they find a box full of tarot cards. And apparently, supposedly, one of them is a tarot reader, and they all gather up together. And if you don't know what tarot cards are, they are cards where, based off your zodiac signs, they will depict your future and what is to come. So, she reads everybody's future through the tarot cards, and once they finish, everybody starts dying in the way that they were told from the tarot cards. So that's the premise, and myself, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a great movie, and I thought the acting was good. A lot of reviews were hating on the acting. I do not agree with any of those. So I would check it out if you are interested in that. The ending was funny. It ends with a funny plot twist. I like the way everybody dies. Spoiler alert, I'll explain each death and why I thought they were good. So, the first death of the movie, they showed in the trailer, it was kind of giveaway. The girl climbs up into the attic, sees the monster, she gets scared, falls on her back, and then apparently she's paralyzed, so she's trying to crawl away, and then some supernatural force pulls her back under the ladder, and the ladder keeps slamming into her over and over again. You see the demon grabbing onto the ladder, doing it too, and then it's not just one blow and done. They keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and I just thought that was really creative. Thing about this movie, though, it's PG-13, so they don't show any of the gore. All of the gore is either from shadow shots, cut frames, or just blood flying on like a wall or just something random like that. In this case, a cell phone. The way you signify she's died, blood flings on a cell phone while her friend's trying to call her, and they cut to her face covered in blood, but they don't actually show the inflicting wounds from the ladder. They don't show any of that stuff. So the next person to die is this boy, and he got the hermit. I'm sorry, I did not know the first person's name. I know most of the entities' names. I kind of forgot the first person. The name was kind of forgettable. But the next one was the hermit, and the person holds a lamp, and his whole thing is he helps you lead you the wrong way or something. And the dude who got that, he was dropping one of the other girls off home, and he was walking into the subway to go home. So he was taking a subway. And then all of a sudden, all the lights come out. This is really fucking cool, guys. This scene goes on for super long, too, which adds extra suspense and more jump scares. So, he's walking down. At the end of the hallway of the subway, you see a dark end, and you just see the hermit holding his lamp. Just picture there's a lamp here. You know what? I'll edit a lamp there. The hermit, he's holding a lamp, and he's just standing there. And then all of a sudden, the lamp goes out. And then the whole line of lights starts going darker, and it's like darkness consuming him. It's moving right towards him. So he starts running to where there's more light, but then that comes in all darkness. And then he just gets trapped, so then the hermit comes chasing him down the hallway, so he breaks through a door, and he ends up on the tracks of a subway. And he's scared, dude. Like, why wouldn't you be scared? And the hermit keeps messing with him. Then he eventually ends up in one of the abandoned subway trains. Out of fear, it's abandoned, so he's in there alone. He's hiding from him behind one of the seats. But then he hears the subway doors open, signifying someone is near. And he gets scared. At the end of the hallway, there is all darkness. It becomes very, very dark. And then the light comes on, and the hermit comes running right at him. Very, very cool. But shockingly, he doesn't die. And then he gets scared, so he backs up. The hermit's right next to him. Dude gets scared, ends up falling out of the train, getting hit by another moving subway. That was the hermit's kill. Really, really cool. I forgot to tell the other person, the other monster. I forgot the name, but it was like this woman with something over her eyes, a lot of upside down crosses, which in religion, no, that's a no. But yeah, the next kill, I believe, was... Sorry. Don't get me wrong here. Kind of forgot. I believe it was... Yep. Alright, it was the hangman. The hangman is one where it's like they are driving. Hangman means technology fails you and you begin isolated, and it says not to run, which what they do there is kind of stupid. So they're driving, they got talked with someone who told them about the tarot cards and helped them understand the tarot cards a little more. So they're driving back. All of a sudden, the car batteries run out, so the car stops in the middle of a empty bridge, and it's all of the survivors are in that bridge together, wondering what the fuck just happened. So they're all gathered into that bridge, and they're like, oh shit. And then they begin watching the video of when she was reading the tarot cards. And for her, it was all the signs were leading towards that. And it was like, do not run, the thing will chase you and stuff, and something like that. And then all of a sudden, on the reflection, it was raining out. So in the rain reflection, the hangman started drawing a hangman. And then the three lines, like, you know how you play the game Hangman, right? He drew that, and he wrote, R-U-N, run. So then the girl freaks out because she knows she's the next one to die. So she gets out of the car and does the most stupid thing ever. She begins to book it down the bridge. One of the stupidest things you could do in horror movies. I will give it that. So she is running, like, I mean, bolting down that. And our main girl goes to chase her. Like, no, you can't run. No, stop. So she begins to run. And then the hangman is around the car. And the car sensors are picking up that something's around them. Keeps banging on the car and stuff. Eventually it stops. The hangman smashes his head against the window and then begins running after that girl. And that is a very cool scene on the bridge where you just see the hangman above the bridge just chasing her down. Very, very, very cool. So he hunts her down, and then he stops her because he drops this rope around her neck, and she begins to cry, and her friend is right behind her, and she turns around crying, saying, help me, as the rope lifts her up as if it's hanging her. It is hanging her in that sense. So it lifts her up, hanging her, and it lifts her up, and she's gone, because right above her is darkness. And then her body just drops down emotionless. She's dead. She's just dangling. Then her body gets pulled back up again, and then you hear the sound of the monster just eating away at her. That is very, very cool, though. The sounds. This was my least favorite kill, but don't get me wrong, it was still really cool. The next kill in this story, I believe, is the Fool. Don't get me wrong. If you watch this, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong in the order. But I believe the next one's the Fool, and this is for Paxton, the dude who plays Ned. Sorry, I don't remember all their names. I remember Paxton because he was the funniest character. But yeah, he is walking with them. They found out from the person that the way to destroy the cards is by, like, burning them, or just, they're trying to find ways to destroy the cards so that way the curse can be broken and they could all be free. But Paxton has the bright idea, you know what, this is stupid, I'm going to go back to my place and wait for this to pass by. This curse will eventually pass by me or something. And I do think that was kind of a little bit stupid on him. And she was like, no, your curse says you're going to be bullheaded and you are just going to not listen to us and go, you got to stick with us. And he was like, no. And then he decides to go home. So his monster is the Fool. So as he's walking home, the Fool is like this jester type person with like a clown mask type thing. Just looks like a jester. So he's walking home, listening to music. He hears a laugh, like kind of like a clownish laugh. And then he gets scared, so he starts to walk faster. And it feels like something is chasing him. So he eventually gets to the place he lives, which is a college dorm, I believe, or something like that. So he is there, and as he's about to go in, he sees across the street the jester, and the jester just starts contorting his body, which looks really cool. It's like, I don't know, he just starts contorting his body in really cool things, and I thought that was really, really cool. So he goes inside out of fear. May I say he was gripping onto a vape too. But yeah, he decides to go into the place. Good, I guess. Although you're kind of trapping yourself if you think about it. So he goes in there, and a lot of the doors are locked. The only way he can get back up is through the elevator. So he goes into the elevator, and then he realized, oh wait, the thing said, the way my fate ends is I'll be boxed in. He's boxed in an elevator. And of course his floor is on the 5th floor. So as he's going up, just music starts to play in the elevator, like circus-ish music. And then a song comes on about being a fool, and then the thing comes to the top, and he sees the thing up there staring at him, and then begins to run towards him. The elevator door shuts. The lights are still on there at that moment, but then it keeps opening and closing. He's stuck on the fifth floor, just keeps opening and closing. And the jester keeps, or I'm just going to go by his name, the fool, keeps moving around the room every time the door opens. There's one cool scene where he's walking across the ceiling, and then eventually just keeps running up to the elevator until it shuts. All the lights in the elevator turn red. All of the buttons have these weird symbol, and the fool song gets louder until the fool just jumps out and has razor sharp teeth and just like inside the elevator. Very, very cool. And then it cuts to the final three people. One of the people being in the newer Mean Girls musical. I watched that, was not a big fan of that, but she's in this, and she makes it near the end. So they're all there they try to burn the cards, but that does not work. So then they call the help of somebody the person who helped them understand that you need to destroy the cards and they have a curse. They called her in to help them. So she goes there and she's trying to get rid of the curse. But the person who put the curse on the cards ends up reading her future right in front of her, and she gets like the 6 knives or something, or I forgot exactly, but it's like something where like knives go on your back or something, and then she ends up getting killed. So that happened. And then they all get scared and begin to run, the 3 of them. So then 2 of them are lovers, they run together. And then the third girl, the one from Mean Girls, runs completely on her own way and gets lost. And ends up in like the basement area. And the other 2 couples are like, where did she go? Like, she was just behind us. And then it cuts to her walking around. She's all lost and confused. And she all of a sudden starts hearing like not clown music, that was in the elevator. She starts hearing like music, just random music, and she ends up being on this stage. Like, she gets stuck in all these like stage curtains and stuff, and she ends up coming out on this massive stage with this like ghostly audience, and she's right in front of a magician. Her card was the magician, so she's right in front of this big magician. And as she's trying to run away, he magically attaches chains to her legs, and she falls to the ground, and the magician slowly starts walking towards her. So she runs to the backstage and hides in this chest, which kind of cornering yourself there, hiding in a chest, especially when you know they're not human, so it's not going to do well for you. So she's hiding in this chest. The only way she can see out is through this keyhole, and the music starts to play again. And what they do is they do the simulation like he's walking backstage. You see his shadow kind of walking backstage. But then he stops, walks backwards. Moment of silence. She's staring out at the keyhole. And then, bam! The magician's right in the keyhole staring at her. And then he drags the box that she's in out onto the stage in front of the entire audience. And then he grabs this saw, jabs it through the box, misses her. And he keeps trying to stab it through, but keeps missing her and jabbing it. And then he ends up twisting this thing that makes her body lay flat onto the box. Like, she can't move. She's laying flat on the bottom of the box. And then he starts hacksawing the top of the box till eventually he gets low enough and cuts her in half. But like I said, the movie doesn't show any of that grisly images. It just cuts to her face as she's getting killed, being cut. So, she dies. And then the other 2 fates for them was death and the devil. And the boyfriend got the devil, and the girl got death. Although, may I say, the love thing is a little different. So, the thing you find out that they're no longer together, and they kind of separated. But by the end, they start connecting again, and I feel like by the end, they decide to get back together. So I'm just saying couple, even though there is a story in it that they broke up and stuff. So, they are finding a way to destroy the card, but they don't know what to do, and they're being attacked by Death and also the Devil. So they're being attacked by both of them, and she comes up with the idea, like, I must read the person who put the curses on the cards tarot, and then bad thing will happen to her. And as she was reading the tarot, her boyfriend was being attacked by the monsters and stuff, but she was there. But the boyfriend was trying to defend her. He kept fighting her monster too, so he kept fighting. Then eventually he got caught, but she finished reading up the tarot, and the person who read the card was watching her, and then eventually came up to her as she finished reading the tarot, grabbed her neck, and then the girl keeps explaining her future and stuff, and then eventually it activates, and the whole circle where the tarot reading card is lights up, and she gets taken over. Her evil soul leaves her body and she dies. And then the curse is over. All the cards end up burning that way, and they begin to walk home. The boyfriend and the girl. And as they're walking home, this car pulls up to them, and they thought it wasn't over yet. Something else was coming for them. Turns out that was Paxton. He came out of the car, and he was like, "Yo, dudes, I survived, man." He managed to survive, so then they end up... The end scene of the movie is them driving off. And then they're like, "How did you survive?" So apparently he didn't end up dying. Before he died, his roommate, I believe Tom is his name or something like along that line, ends up opening up the elevator, and he's just in there screaming. That's the end of the movie. Paxton and the two couples are the only people who survive in that movie. If I would do a kill count, quite easy. But yeah, that was the premise and all the deaths. And I also kind of spoil a lot of the movie, so I'll put spoiler in the titles. But I thought this movie was great. I thought the monsters looked awesome. I wish it didn't have as bad hate, because I didn't think it was a bad movie. But that's also because I think a lot of movies are great. I don't think of myself as a harsh critic. I like to think of myself as someone who enjoys movies, especially horror films. That is why I'm going to be starting my own horror channel, specifically for reviews. And I gotta make that, but once I make it, expect community post, I'll put it there. Go subscribe to that. We'll also be doing all things horror. I'll be streaming indie horror games, we'll be doing horror movie reviews, and also horror movie unboxing related stuff. If you like unboxing or review stuff, that'll be your dream place. So thank you all for subscribing. Thank you all for watching. Check out Tarot. I don't know how much longer it'll be in theaters. It came out May 3rd, and it's like May 18th. Check it out before it goes. It's been your boy Llama Vlogs. I'm headed out. Bye, guys.